Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Math 20-2, Chapter 4, Lesson 4, Simplifying Algebraic Expressions Involving Radicals. Today, we're going to perform one or more operations to simplify radical expressions with numerical or variable radicands. We're going to rationalize the monomial denominator of a radical expression, and we're going to identify values of the variable for which the radical expression is defined. So that's simplified, denominator defined. Okay? Now, simplifying a radical when there's a variable. We want to be able to simplify root of 4x to the fourth. Now, in order to do this, we have to know what to do when a variable x is involved. Okay? Now, let's start off with something simpler. Let's simplify square root of x squared. Now, notice x can be any number, but it always ends up being positive. Positive. So we say x is an absolute value. Now what I mean by that is take a number, 7, square it, and then square root. What do we get? 7. But, sorry, I should say, I skipped a step there. That is square root of 49, which is 7. However, what is minus 7 squared? That equals 49. We take the square root of that, we get plus 7. So this is what I mean by the number always ends up being positive. So x squared can be simplified to the absolute value of x. Technically, we're supposed to say that whatever x is, sorry, what I'm trying to say is x is some number, minus 7. We square it, we square root it, we get the absolute value of that number, which is just 7. Now remember absolute values, how far you are from the origin, or it's just the positive version of the number. Okay? Now, let's simplify x cubed. Oh, sorry, square root of x cubed. Well, it's the same thing as x squared times the root of x. We can convert the square root of x squared into the absolute value of x. So simplified, it's the absolute value of x times the root of x. Like that. That's the square root of x cubed. All right? Now, simplifying the root of x to the fourth, well, that's x squared times x squared. Sorry, the absolute value of x times the absolute value of x, which gives us x squared. So here, you should notice a pattern. If I ask you to simplify these, say x to the fifth, sorry, my apologies, the square root of x to the fifth. Ugh. That is the square root of x squared times the square root of x squared times the square root of x. Remember the exponents, when we multiply them, numbers together, we add the exponents. Now the square root of x squared is the absolute value of x times another absolute value of x times the square root of x. Absolute value of x times the absolute value of x is x squared. But don't forget the root of x at the end. Okay. Now, square root of x to the sixth, square root of x squared, square root of x squared, square root of x squared, absolute value of x times the absolute value of x times the absolute value of x. So that is x squared times the absolute value of x. Okay? So you should see the pattern forming here. Every time you get an x absolute value, words, forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. Square root of x squared is always absolute value of x. So we're chunking these. Okay? Now, simplifying with variables, I'd like you guys to try these. So there is 4 of them here. I'll do the first one with you, and then I'm going to ask you to pause the recording, come back, and we'll compare results. Now, this is the root of 3, the root of x squared times the root of x squared, which is root of 3 times absolute value of x times the absolute value of x, which becomes root of 3 times x squared. Now be careful how you write that, because if you get a little messy and make this a little long, it looks like the square root goes over the x squared, and it doesn't. So be careful. So often, not always, but often, I'll write that as x squared times the root of 3. That way you clearly see the x squared isn't under the square root sign. All right? Now I'm going to pause the recording. I want you guys to do the rest of these, come back, and we will compare results. Okay? Good luck. Okay, welcome back. Now, root of 3x squared becomes the absolute value of x times root of 3. Square root of 4x cubed becomes 2 times the absolute value of x times the root of x. And 16x to the 5th becomes 2x squared root of x. Okay? Now that's what I need to be able to do. Now, what if there's a coefficient? Well, just like with the other coefficients, we multiply. So, 2 times the square root of 4 times the square root of x squared, square root of x squared. Square root of 4 is 2, so that's 2 times another 2. Absolute value of x times the absolute value of x is 4x squared. Okay? See, not so bad. Well, painful, but not so bad. Now, oh, missing word, my apologies. What if there's a coefficient? I'm sorry, getting old. Anyway, so the last example, 3 root 12x squared. Well, 12 is what? 4 times 3, which is 2 and 2, so this is 2 times 2 times 3. So the square root of 12. So now it's square, so we're looking for group pairs. So it's 2 squared times 3. Square root of 2 squared is 2. So this simplifies. 3 square root 12 square root x squared. Now, we just showed over here, I should change the color. Square root of 12, I'll make that green. No, not shade of green. So that root of 12 here, I can write as times 2 square root 3. And the square root of x squared is the absolute value of x. So that's 6 square root 3 times the absolute value of x. And once again, this can get messy, so 6 absolute value of x root 3. All right? Now, I want to warn you guys, I'm lazy. And so often, I will drop the absolute value signs and write the 6x root 3. That's not correct, and you catch me if I do that. I know I'm old. I'm supposed to know better. So going back here, you will so often see this just as x root 3 or 2x square root of x. It's not. But I will write it like that because I'm old and lazy and I forget. But you're young and smart. Catch me when I do dumb things like that. All right? Now, what I need you to be able to do is simplify the equations. Now, root of x plus 5 root of x. How many x's do I have? I have 6 root of x. Now, 12 root of x minus 5 root 3 of x. Now, we have to be able to simplify. Root of 12, we just did that back here. No, I don't expect you to memorize it, but root of 12 is 2 root 3. We just did it right back here, so that's 2 root 3 times root of x minus 5 root 3 of x. Now, so that is 2 root of 3x minus 5 root 3x minus 3 root 3x. So be careful, we have to simplify. All right? Now, this video is getting kind of long, so I'm going to pause it here. Then we're going to go on to the meat of the lesson. But if you've got this, I'm happy. Any questions, shoot me an email. Otherwise, good luck. Good luck.